Hi, I'm Sharon, the founder of the Luca Foundation. We are a charity that supports the NHS with the provisions of cuddle cots. Cuddle cots are used in baby loss and it allows families to have a few days with their baby to say their goodbyes and make some memories. But today I'm recording a podcast with our board member Hannah and her challenge that she took on to climb Everest for the charity to help us continue to support bereaved parents. Hello, so we're here with Hannah today, who's one of our board members at the Luca Foundation.
Hello.
Thank you, Hannah, for being here. I'm really excited to talk to you about the challenge you took on. But first of all, will you just introduce yourself and what you do and who you work for in your day to day?
Absolutely, yes. So my name is Hana Smiddy, and my day job is community manager with Action Coach UK, and previous to that, a business coach with Action Coach UK, which is where we met.
Yes.
In 2022, when we did coaching for a cause, and you were the first charity that I coached for a cause,
Yeah.
and it was absolutely phenomenal. I actually didn't appreciate how much of a similarity it was to running a business to running a charity. So that was eye opening for me, and working together was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, one of the fundamentals of running a business, running a charity, was sales, and your sales was fantastic. So I think you had me signed up as a trustee
Yeah.
within about the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But once I'd learnt what it is that you were doing and what it is that you wanted to do, there was never a question as to not getting involved. So, yeah, it's been fantastic working with the charity in everything that we do to raise money and raise awareness. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm also a mum, proud mum, as we
Yes.
both are, to gorgeous boys.
Yes.
And I try and keep myself out of trouble as much as possible.
Yeah.
But not very well considering the challenge to Everest Base Camp.
I know, I know, which I just find phenomenal that you can even have the willpower to do something like that because I know it's a scary thing and not many people would take that on. But what made you want to do it?
I think I think the motivation was definitely, what can I do that's going to motivate me, encourage me, to step outside of my comfort zone for the charity, which steps outside of its comfort zone all the time.
Yeah.
With the goals that you put in place and the targets that we have in order to impact the hospitals and to be able to be there for the parents of the sharing their stories, sharing their experiences with us. Yeah, pushing myself out of my comfort zone was the motivation, I think. What made me sign up for Everest Base Camp, I'm not 100% sure, because I don't think I thought about it, if I'm being honest. I'm not 100% sure there was much thought behind it, because if I had have thought about it, I may not have signed up. I may not have gone for it. And hindsight is a wonderful thing. And having completed it, it was much more of a challenge than I ever thought it would be, to be honest. But I've done
Wow.
little challenges. So I've kayaked across Lake Windermere, and I've climbed the three mountains that we've got in the UK, and I've trekked round Mont Blanc. And every time you do those little challenges, you want to do something more challenging the next time. It's a curse of being human, I think. And when you tie that in with doing it for charity, you're held accountable. So I want to do something bigger and I want to help the charity. So those two things married together means that you become more adventurous than you ever thought you could. Hence the progression to Everest Base Camp and travelling over to Nepal for 3 weeks.
Wow. Wow. And I think it takes a certain type of person to do that, and you are definitely that type of person, and which is one of the things I absolutely love about you. And I think that's how we gelled as well. It's part of you're tenacious in the challenges that you would take on, and I absolutely admire that. Um, but it wasn't pure easy sailing, is it? So what what challenges did you have when you were going to Everest Base Camp?
Um, it wasn't easy sailing at all. I mean, the organisation that the company that organised it for us, Blue Sky Paul, made it super simple. So he made it super simple for me to sign up and to be able to do this for the charity without having to think about it. So everything was taken care of. All of the travel, all of the accommodation, the whole trip was taken care of. So I didn't have to think about any of that. And so therefore, I don't think I put much thought into the other aspects of the trip either. For example, the amount of time that I was going to be away, the amount of time that I was going to be walking, the elevation that I was going to be taken on, and the altitude. I didn't even think about the altitude at all. And so I think the biggest challenges were being away from home for 3 weeks with very little communication. The internet, if I must say though, the internet in Nepal is better than you think it might be, because there's Wi-Fi everywhere. However, the more people they've got on the Wi-Fi, the service drops. So you need to either be first up, they say first up, best dressed, or you need to be the last up. Which I love my sleep. So the second I was able to go to bed, I went to bed. Food, sleep, walk. Food, sleep, walk. That was my life for 3 weeks. So yeah, I think it was being away from the family and not being able to speak with them, not be able to keep in touch with loved ones on social media. Couldn't post on Facebook. Post on Facebook, which was just, you want to be saying what it is that you're doing. You can't post on Facebook.
Yeah, I was constantly looking out for it as well when you was away, because I was like, something's gonna come through, something real come through, and then but when you did post, I was like, yes.
Well, thankfully we had a couple of the guys in the group. So there was 9 of us all together. I didn't know anybody really, except for the organiser Paul. So I met 9 new best friends, and 2 of them had a little mini competition between each other of who could do the best reel per day. So they were first up, best dressed, or staying up late, because that was something that that was a part of their sort of routine.
Wow.
So I relied heavily on their skill for creating reels, and also putting a post upon on Facebook. So hopefully, there was plenty of progress photos and video up there, but it wasn't something that I could consider, because I think the challenge of walking 9 days to get there, 4 days to get back, the elevation. We went from 3,000, just over 3,000 meters to 5,900. And of course the altitude. It was, I don't know how to explain it really, like something you've never experienced.
Does it make you lightheaded? How does that feel? Is it a headache, or is it you feel like you're on a high because you're actually lightheaded with it?
Yeah, well, it's a bit of both of those things, really. So the further you get, the higher you go, the further up the trek we were going. It started off as that little bit of I think I can feel something. Anybody else feel a little bit dizzy? When you go up really quick in a lift, and you feel like the floor's coming away from you. Yeah, it started off like that, and you'd get out of bed and you'd think, the floor's going to go. And then it started to progress into headaches, and then it started to progress into shortness of breath. And for some, like I say, there was 9 of us that started the trek, and 3 unfortunately didn't make it to base camp.
Right.
So we unfortunately lost Pauline quite early on, actually, after about a week, where she got a serious stomach infection.
Oh gosh.
And so she had to be helicoptered down,
right,
which was really scary, because you think these things can happen, but you never believe they do. You never believe the worst's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which again is one of the reasons that you sign up for these things, because you just don't believe that it's going to happen to you. You don't believe these things are going to happen. So when Pauline got helicoptered down, we were like, actually, a bit of a wake up call. This is serious. This is serious stuff. So then we started talking about altitude, and we started to talk about the effects that could happen. And you could have acute mountain sickness where it affects the lungs and you get fluid on the lungs, or the second stage is, or the other version is fluid on the brain. Fluid on the lungs is slightly better because you get down the mountain and it's fine. Fluid on the brain is a little bit more serious. So we were like, okay, well, there's a stomach infection, that's fine. Not too bad. And then we started to progress, and two other trekkers started to feel a pain in their chest, shortness of breath, and they actually turned back and went the other way just to come further down so that we could all... They were actually going to come to the base camp a different way. Mm-hmm. So the way that we went, we were going up and over a path called Chola Pass. And it's the highest that you go, and then you sort of trek across the top of this peak, and then you go all the way down. And it was the first time we'd seen snow, actually. So we were trekking, and it was gorgeous. Mm. It was beautiful. We had shorts on. It was really nice and warm. And I was thinking, I thought Everest would be freezing. I thought it would be... Yes, so until you actually get to base camp or close to base camp, it's really quite pleasant. It's quite nice, actually. Wow. You're walking through similar surroundings like the Lake District, so you feel like you're at home. Yeah, and it's really quite familiar. Beautiful scenery. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. It's just stunning, and the people are stunning. The Nepalese people. I mean, it's just, they're incredible. So friendly. They just want to take care of you. Very basic. And I don't want to put anybody off from doing the trek, but the toilets are a hole in the floor. Yeah. So not... It adds to the adventure. But so two of our fellow trekkers went back to come a different way, and Andrew unfortunately got fluid on the lungs and had to be flown back. So he had to do a evac and went down to Kathmandu Hospital. Mm-hmm. And he, unfortunately, whilst he was in hospital, found out that his father had passed. Oh my God. And was stuck in hospital until he was safe enough to be released and then go home. Oh God. So for him to be able to trek as far as he did, and to get as far as he did, to turn around was really disappointing. Yeah. And really quite upsetting for him. And then to be in hospital and hear that his father had died, he felt like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. For him. Yeah. But has since contacted us. And thanked us for the camaraderie at that time, and his dad has had a wonderful goodbye, and so I mean but you make these friends, you have these relationships, and you form these friendships with people that you didn't know, mere months ago, and now they are firmly in your life.
It's like It's that experienced family, isn't it? That kind of only know what you've been through because they've been there with you. Yeah. And nobody's going to get it like they do. No. So. No. Yeah. And
it's interesting that you say that, actually, because you do form these sort of families, these tribes with all the different hobbies and adventures or treks or charities that you're a part of. They form these families of this network of support that are there for you through thick and thin. And I think that's why I continue to work with yourself and with the Luca Foundation, is that it is that family, it's that connection, it's that support. I mean, I know how many messages you get through socials asking you, is there a cuddle cot at this particular hospital? What do you know about this particular hospital? And it's just the comfort to have you at the end of a phone that can say, I know one's there. Yeah. We've spoken to the midwives. We've spoken to the department. Yeah. The comfort that they get is phenomenal. And that network, that security network's really important. Yeah. And you form them in either the most unlikely places, trekking to Everest, or the most likely places in a charity that supports specific needs in the community. So it's phenomenal.
Oh, amazing.
But I was the only girl that made it to Everest base camp out of the group. So
oh my God,
girl power.
Yes.
And I did it for Pauline and Claire, who didn't quite make it. But
well done. I mean, to get to Everest base camp alone is a triumph, but being the only female to do it as well out of 9 people It's just phenomenal. This is, you blow me away, to be honest, Hannah. I'm just
Thank you.
like absolute in awe of you and the challenges you take on because they are just amazing. And I can imagine, that how hard it must have been to be away from Simon and Aidan and your fur baby as well, of course.
Yes.
And, but that, that just goes to show what a brilliant human you are because you will do something like that and not many people can.
They spur me on, I'll be honest with you. I worry that one day I'm going to say something really crazy and say I want to summit Everest, or I want to like walk around the world or something crazy, because they'd go, okay, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. You know you can do anything. Yeah. I guess you attract people that are similar to you, don't you? And
Yes.
yeah, life kind of life's a mirror.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant because it often brings in sort of similar personalities.
Yeah.
And I know that if I ever came to you and said, I've got my eye on this challenge, what do you think? You'd say, go for it. And it's the same with Si and Hayden, really. It's a case of, what if you say you want to do it, there's no way that you won't do it. So go for it. What I must say is, signing up for Everest Base Camp, knowing I was doing it for the Luca Foundation, made me know, like without a doubt, that I was going to finish it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing to really remember, is that when you do these challenges for charities, not only does it bring awareness and it brings needed fundraising, for me personally, it meant that I was never not going to go. I was never not going to, I was never not going to complete it, unless, of course, something sort of medical happened, and it didn't, which was great. So the charity for us, the impact that you have on us, just giving us that, that kind of encouragement is fantastic.
Oh,
so
bless you.
yeah, I will be
And
careful what I say next time.
no, but I think also because as a charity board, you all know I'm not salaried, and everything I do is for the cause and the passion. So I know that all of you understand that whatever challenges you do take on, you know that that money's going to the cause, and not many charities can say that, and that's also why I don't take a salary, because I feel like, when people do give to a cause, especially as it's, a cost of living crisis anyway, they want to know how much of that's going to the cause. And I do feel quite strongly about that. I feel strongly about that, so I know other people do, and I know all those people that donated towards your page and still are, because it's still open. It's just, they know that it's going to the hospitals. It's by just the other day, Tuesday morning, I had, I think, 3 emails that I sorted out from the NHS before I had to go to the expo, and repaired all their cuddle cots in one morning for all the parts that they needed. And that was £1,000 worth of repairs in just one morning. But that's how quick our funds can go. And I think that's really important to add to those people that have paid towards your, to support you on your fundraising, is that money is being used for hospitals across the country.
Oh, absolutely, and they all know that. And they all know, a lot of the supporters for this particular trek have supported us before, and they will continue to support us, absolutely. What I will say is that the work that you put in to raising awareness, raising funds, raising the status of what it is that the NHS does, deserves compensation, deserves a salary. So I know that you feel really strongly about this. But with any founder driving an organisation forward, and that's what this is. This is a founder driving an organisation forward. In order to be able to do that sustainably, deserves to be paid, deserves to be able to continue that work. And in order to do that, there needs to be a money. We need money to survive, right? So I know you feel strongly, but
One day.
one day, one day. But I know
One
that your
day.
heart is in having those 3 hospitals, like you say this morning, those cuddle cots fixed, maintained, to be ready to be utilised as and when they need. So, so it's £1,000 for 3 cuddle cot maintenance, and my target was 5,000.
Yes.
So we're halfway there.
Yes.
So yeah, the page, unfortunately, on the Just Giving page isn't open. But what I'd love to do, if possible, is to share our fundraising page underneath.
Yes, of course.
And get to that 5,000.
Of course we will.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because and that and the reason why we wanted to let everybody know what a challenge you've took on, and really down to basics that you had to go through for 3 weeks to raise funds for the charity and raise awareness. It's just, like I said, it's phenomenal anyway. But to put yourself through something like that, just goes to show what kind of wonderful character you are, a wonderful person you are, and hence why you have been a board member now for nearly 3-4 years, and why you're so valued and appreciated by all of us. And I mean, I still can't. I still, when I think about you going to Everest, I still think, oh my gosh, you did that for our charity. It's like our charity, it's just like, and you had the T-shirt at the top of the mountain, well, at base camp, and I was, oh my gosh, Luca Foundation, because of you,
made it to Everest.
Made it to Everest.
Yeah, it was such a proud moment. It really was, to be able to hold the T-shirt up. It was emotional, actually. It really was emotional. There was lots of stories, and there was lots of experiences that had got people to that point.
Yeah.
There were life experiences and breakups and honeymoons, actually.
Wow.
And there was a lot of grief. And so, speaking to people at the top of the of our destination at base camp, holding up our T-shirt, people wanting to know exactly what it is that we did, and that resonating with them. They knew somebody that had experienced loss. They'd experienced baby loss.
Yeah.
It just proved to me that what it is that we do is needed.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the basics earlier, and because the whole trek really was quite basic. I think, just a funny story, one of the biggest challenges for me, despite the 14 days of walking, despite the fact that I ran out of clean clothes, that the toilets were a hole, was the fact that I managed, and this is the one thing that I didn't think I'd be able to do. I managed to not shower for 6 days, which actually I am quite proud of, because there was it really was basic. You had a bed,
Wow.
you had food, you slept, but from a shower perspective, there was nothing, and I thought I was going to be quite a girl about it, and I wasn't. I stuck it out, and so for me, one of my proudest moments was the fact that I didn't shower. I got on with it. I did my miles, and completed it.
That's amazing.
But I enjoyed that shower when I got back to Kathmandu.
I bet.
It was.
I bet. Oh, wow.
Another reason why we all became such close friends, I think, is because it was a case of, who smells worse? Is that you or me? It was all of us.
I can't imagine. And just, sniffing everyone who's the worst.
Oh,
That's just
it was.
on another level.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It was. It wasn't pleasant at times for reasons that you wouldn't necessarily think.
Yeah.
Because you can push through the walking, you can push through the miles, you can get yourself to the top of the next elevation. You can not have a shower for 6 days. All of those things you can do. The resilience in us is really quite remarkable.
So it's not put you off trekking?
No. No, and I'm glad I said that really quickly, actually, because I thought it might. So no, it hasn't. I've got my eye for the charity next, Mount Fuji.
Oh, wow.
I've got my eye on Mount Fuji next year, 2026.
Wow.
So if anybody wants to join us for Mount Fuji 2026, then yes, I've got my eye firmly fixed.
Right.
Another mountain trek is coming soon.
Yeah,
Just
I'll go.
not this
I'll
year.
go with you, but I'll stay in the hotel and wait for you to finish and come back.
Yeah.
If that's all right.
Yeah, definitely.
I certainly can't do the climbing part of it, not
Yeah.
with my leg anyway. But gosh, wouldn't that be
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. So Mount
Wow.
Fuji or Tubkal or Kilimanjaro
Oh my god.
coming soon. Time really does fly by.
Yeah.
And so what are we doing with that time?
Wow. Well, May we've got our Bollywood
Yes.
night, which is going to be fabulous.
It's going to be
Some
very
real
good.
traditional Bollywood dancers as well. It's going to
So
be
good.
great. And then, charity big gala dinner this year, Downton Abbey theme. That whole weekend, because Downton Abbey movie comes out the Friday, but our gala dinner's on the Saturday.
Everybody's going to be in the mood, aren't they? Going to be
It's
so
going to be
excited.
Downton fever.
Yes.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'm really excited about that because we have got some dancers coming in and doing all that kind of period drama type dancing that you saw in the series and movies and
Gorgeous.
stuff. And it's going to be full of just splendour. It's going to be a really good night.
Sophisticated splendour. See, we don't need to
there you
do
go.
we don't need to do treks. We don't need to. Those are good.
Yes.
They're good. We'll always keep those. We'll always keep the treks for those that really want to
Yeah.
put the miles under their feet. But those that don't want to put the miles under their feet,
Yeah.
then the gala dinner and the Bollywood night, and the quizzes and the wellbeing walks that we do.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got something for everybody.
Oh, we
it's
have.
not it's not all about not showering for 6
Yeah.
days and trekking for 14 and yeah.
Yeah, we have. We've got a bit of something for everyone.
We
That's
have.
for sure.
Yeah.
So watch this space. We are going to do something on that.
Yes,
And if
definitely.
you are interested, just email us at info@thelucafoundation.org.uk on anything that we've discussed here or any suggestions you have actually for the foundation and what you'd like us to see and get involved in. So thank you for recording this with us and
Absolute pleasure.
letting obviously all of our supporters and beyond know what it is like to actually get to Everest Camp Base, and what a brilliant challenge you took on.
No, thank you. It's been so great to come and share some of the story. And if anybody is thinking about doing Everest Base Camp, do it. Absolutely do it. Take plenty of baby wipes and just sign yourself up. And if you do it for a charity, then you know that you definitely won't back out. So good luck in any challenge that you ever take on for yourself or for charity. And yeah, just thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Sharon.
you.